G'day guys, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a ripper start to your week. First things first, I am having pretty hectic hay fever today, so if I am sounding a little bit nasally or my nose is pretty red, I can see that in the camera. You know why? There's not much I can do about it. I've taken all the pills. I shoved Vicks up my nose probably about 5-10 minutes ago, so that'll buy me some time, hopefully. But you know, it is what it is. It's one of the few downsides of spring. I do love spring, but sometimes it's a bit of a pain. Anyway, enough about that. What we'll do is we'll head to Bitcoin, and I'll let you know what I'm seeing at the moment, what I'm thinking. Righto, so here we are. We're looking at the weekly candles. So not much has happened since last week because when you're looking at the weeklies, it's one candle, so just that one. That candle was nowhere near any of my zones in terms of the all-time high, the trend line, the demand zone, so there's really nothing to talk about there. You can see today's candle has approached the all-time high, but that's only been open for, I don't know, about 10 hours. Can't be bothered doing the maths. It's been open for less than half a day. So don't put too much into that. Now, one thing that I have noticed is volume is still declining, right? Now, I am not a volume trader. It is literally at the top of my list in terms of things that I'd want to study to improve my TA, but I haven't got around to doing it yet. But from what I can remember, so this could be completely wrong, but from what I think I've learnt from people that have used volume, is you want to see volume increasing as we look to break levels. So you'd want to see something like that as we approach this all-time high, and it's really not what we're seeing. So that's just some food for thought. Again, really not my area of expertise, so I could be completely wrong on that. If you know a really good volume trader, maybe get their thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what someone who actually knows what they're talking about thinks in terms of the declining volume. But that's enough about the weeklies because there's nothing super exciting to be talking about there. If we head down to the dailies, and I'll just hide my little brush tool, I'll get to that in a sec. These are the levels that I'm watching. So you can see we had the supply zone created, probably about 2 weeks ago. It's been respected really well. We've been rejecting off it. We've just punched up into it today. Hopefully we reject from here because I have entered some shorts. I'll get to that in a minute, or a short. But it's a pretty weak supply zone. You know, the move out of it wasn't all that large. So there is a good chance that we break it and run. And why I think there's a good chance is basically for two reasons. One, what I've sort of highlighted here is a bunch of consolidation. Now, consolidation under resistance is often a bullish sign. It often means that we're going to go break that resistance and run. So that sort of does make me think that we might be looking at a new all-time high very soon. You know, probably this week, based on this consolidation. But again, I really like this sort of area for buying. Now, we may never see it because if we break all-time high here, we may just run. We may never see that area get hit. But if we do reject and head down there, then it's an area that I really like. On the 4 hour, this is where things get interesting. Actually, and I'll just leave my dailies on because there's a zone that I want, but I'll get rid of this brush. So we have a really large symmetrical triangle. Now, I don't place too much stock in this. We do have 3 touches on it. I draw my trend lines close on candle closes, so based on the line chart. So you can see how I put that in there. And so it's it's kind of good to see that wick to it because it gives it a bit more credence. That said, I never place too much weight on trend lines, but there is sort of a symmetrical triangle forming. Now, a symmetrical triangle after a big run up has a higher probability of breaking to the upside. So between that and the daily consolidation under resistance, that sort of does have me thinking, okay, there is a decent chance we go on and run from here. That said, when I was doing my chart today, I think price was about here. I don't want to be entering along where price was at the time. So the trade that I have entered and that I sort of saw for the week was actually a short. So I've sort of shorted through these levels based on these supply zones. Excuse me. There's a pretty strong 4 hour EQ there. That was sort of my first entry, but it felt like a real FOMO entry. So I made that for a very small amount, and then weighted this one quite heavily and this one just a little bit. I had 3 entries staggered in, so they've all been picked up, which is fantastic. Now, what I've done, as soon as I saw they were picked up, right, I dropped my stop loss down quite a bit because, like I've said a few times, my trades that work well, they tend to be the ones that just touch and then reject. And we had that beautiful touch and rejection. So if we continue to head up from here, I'm most likely going to be wrong based on my previous data. So I've just pulled my stop loss in tight. It's a really good feeling, right? That I've already reduced risk compared to what I was willing to lose. It was one of the first things, or not one of the first, but it was another moment that I sort of realised how far I've come in my trading journey. I'd reduced risk heavily on a trade, and I was still, able to lose money if my stop was hit, but it was so much less than what I was risking initially. And I realised how happy I was about that. And I was like, I haven't actually made any money, but I've literally just reduced the chance of making money. Reduced the chance of losing money, or reduced the amount I'm going to lose if I do lose money. And I've still got the same reward because my targets are still the same. So it's, a lot of my big psychological moments, a lot of my big moments of sort of realising how far along I've come as a trader have been not from my wins. I've said that a few times, and that was one of them. So that's what I've done again today. I've pulled my stop loss in tight. My risk is now reduced. I was happy to lose what I was happy to lose in the first place. I'm even happier to lose what I am risking now. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at for the week. I am in a short. To be honest, it's not looking great, right? This sort of bull hammer. There is a good chance we're going to go. There's a good chance looking at this right now that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and we'll have an all new all-time high, and I'll have been stopped out of my trade. I'm fine with that, right? I'm always fine with losing. I prefer to win, but that's cool. That's what risk management's for. But this, it reinforces a really good point. Let me get rid of the brush about like really, really focusing on your entries for trades. Even if you think the market's going to do something, you have to figure out where you can enter or where you want to enter. Because right now, I think the market is bullish. I think there is probably a good chance we're going to break all-time high. I'm still happy to be in my short because I think it's a high opportunity short, right? It's if we reject from here, I'm in a really good position. I'm going to have a pretty huge risk to reward if we get, even just down to here, but let alone anywhere near down those levels I'm talking about on the daily. And so I'm happy to take the chance on that. I'm not happy to take the chance on a long, even though I think the long is more likely, because I can't get an entry on it. For me to be buying, I'd want price to be back down here, maybe there. Where we were at the time, I was not interested in a long. So, that's a message I've reinforced nearly every week. It's one of the cornerstones of my trading is picking where I want to be entering. Even if I think the market is going a certain way, I don't necessarily want to enter where price is at the moment, and it might mean I never get an entry. I'm cool with that. I am always looking for really high opportunity, low risk entries, and there was just no low risk entry on a long that I've seen, in the last, today, because I did my charts today. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Bitcoin for the week. Hopefully it's enlightening. Hopefully you guys are in longs, because I do think the longs are more likely. Hopefully you guys are all loaded up. Let me know what you are seeing, what you're doing. If anyone has any hay fever tips, send them through. What do I take? I took Clarentine. I took some other one. The other one, I think it's like Cole's home brand, maybe. I can't remember the brand, but it's been working really well for me. But today it just hasn't delivered. Taking Panadol and shove Vicks up my nose. So if you got any other tips, I've heard horseradish tablets can be pretty good. Who knows? So that's everything for today. Hope you guys have a ripper week, and I will talk to you very soon.